Welcome back to the Injury Prone Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm here to Edwin Porras, fantasypoints.com. Gracias por tus oídos. Hey, it is playoff. We are here on Sunday going to hit on Breece Hall, Ladd McConkey, Bucky Irving, and you got a lot of big decisions to make. I've got my own big decisions to make, and this is going to be a tough one. Let's start right off the bat with Breece Hall. I think the best way to go about deciding Breece Hall versus anybody else that you have on your roster is if you have Breece Hall and pretty much most other running backs, you're probably going to start Breece Hall. I'll tell you the specific scenario that I'm in personally because I think that it will help you with my thought process. So I'm actually playing my good compadre Jorge Martin in the lower body conference of the injury-prone invitational. Got screwed by Stafford and Cup. So really, I'm looking at a situation now where I have to start Chuba Hubbard, probably. I have to start Chase Brown, probably. Now I'm looking at Connor versus Breece Hall. So I'm not currently projected to win because of the total less than 9 points I got from both Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp together. And so now I have to decide, do I want James Conner or do I want Breece Hall? The biggest risk with Breece Hall this week comes with the fact that he was just floating, that he was frustrated with the injury. It wasn't coming along as quickly as he wanted it to be. I don't think it was from the team, but there were some ideas that he should just be benched and shut down for the rest of the year. How severe is this injury? How competitive are the Jets going to be? They've got Isaiah Davis. They got Braylon Allen. How much is he actually going to be involved in the offense, right? Like, what is the real payoff? What is a real upside to start Breece Hall? Well, the real upside is that you start Breece Hall because Breece Hall has the more upside compared to James Conner. Flip the script. I have to decide between James Conner and Breece Hall. James Conner has saw a 77% snap rate last week. He stayed healthy all year. He's seeing a good majority of the touches in that backfield. He's the lead. He just got a new contract. The Cardinals are playing New England and are favored. So that's really what you're getting at. And I think that if you view this from a situation I have to consider, is James Conner, the floor of James Conner, going to be worth more to me than the ceiling of Breece Hall? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. In a vacuum, I should probably start Breece Hall and just hope for the best against Jacksonville because Breece Hall, he could rip off 2 big runs in the first quarter. He could catch a touchdown. He could catch and then, run for 30 yards for another touchdown, right? If we assume that this is just a run-of-the-mill knee injury and we don't assume the worst, which is the Todd Gurley knee situation, right? If we don't assume the worst, this is just a normal MCL hyperextension injury, and we say, well, we don't think that he's going to get re-injured, even though the re-injury risk is a risk, right? Even considering all of that, Breece Hall is my highest upside, likely highest upside guy in my lineup. So especially if I'm swinging for the fences at this point with a combined 9 points from Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, probably going to slot Breece Hall in, but I'm still deliberating. This is where you have to make the decision based on your league scoring, your format, stuff like that. I still might go, lean James Conner. I'll do a little bit more thinking. I'll probably tweet about it later today, depending on what the outcome, what the result is. The flip side for Conner is like he's gonna see the touches, and the Jets do have other running backs they can hand the ball off to if they want to keep Breece Hall healthy. So again, this is probably a coin flip, realistically, with the volume concerns and the re-injury concern for Breece Hall versus James Conner and the relatively guaranteed productivity volume he's going to see. You could argue either side like I just did. It's probably going to come down to a gut feeling. Should I start Breece versus should I start James Conner? I'll let y'all know what I did on Twitter later today once I probably lose this matchup because they both end up not doing anything for me, right? Moving on to Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving last week, he went DNP, DNP, LP. Tried to play, re-injured, didn't practice again. So what did he do this week? DNP, DNP, LP, you're going to try to play. This is a little bit more straightforward, right? This is very much more of a high risk, moderate reward compared to Breece Hall in terms of Bucky Irving, just because you don't know exactly how much better Bucky Irving is with his hit pointer this week compared to last week. In theory, he's better because more time has passed, but he followed the exact same practice pattern. So if you're desperate, you can throw Bucky Irving out there. I'm probably not. I'm probably going to throw somebody else in that flex spot. And I'm going to live with the results just because it's one of the situations where we truly don't know how healthy he is. And if you have other options, then you should go that direction. Last guy here, Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey dealing with, of course, the knee issue and also dealing with the shoulder, the AC issue. Likely going to play. I thought he was going to play last week because he did have a full week of practice, but they took their time with him. He's going to come back this week. He's going to play. And, I think you do have to throw him in there. You have to slot him in there in most of your leagues just because he has been a stud. There is a risk for re-injury, but generally speaking, after shoulder injury specifically, the only difference, the only dip that you really see amongst wide receivers is that dip and yak. So you probably need to throw Ladd McConkey in most lineups and just hope for the best and hope that he doesn't re-injure himself. But the data shows that this should be a relatively average week relative to his own averages, Ladd McConkey, for him this week. Just make sure that he's actually active. Just confirm, because we did think he was going to go last week. That's it for this week. If you want breakdowns on, Josh Downs, you want other guys, Dalton Kincaid, make sure you go to fantasypoints.com. Peep that injury report. It's always free. Follow me on Twitter at FBInjuryDoc, and follow me on Blue Sky now. I'm back. I joined the masses. I'm on Blue Sky. I don't know the exact link to Blue Sky, but it's just FBInjuryDoc. If you search me on there, good luck this week.